Howdy! If you're new to woodworking and don't quite know where to start when purchasing your first tools, you're not alone. Today I'm breaking down the top 11 essential tools every beginning woodworker needs to start building confidently, accurately, and efficiently without wasting money on things you don't need. To make this list a little easier to digest, I'm going to break down these tools into the following categories: power tools, hand tools, and heavy-duty tools. Your power tools are your portable tools that can either be corded or battery operated. Hand tools are self-explanatory, and your heavy-duty tools are the workhorses of your shop that can still be portable, but will most likely have a specific location in your shop where they live. This list is going to let you get started in woodworking and able to complete pretty much every beginner project out there that you're going to want to tackle. And fret not, my friends, woodworking is a type of craft that you build on. Once you purchase these tools, don't expect to outgrow them or no longer have a use for them. They're going to be a staple in your shop for years to come. This first category up here is your power tools. The biggest thing you want to consider here is whether or not you want to go cordless or corded. Corded tools used to offer the benefit of added power, but it's 2025, guys, and there are a ton of battery-powered tool platforms that deliver plenty of power and are reasonably priced. So my recommendation would be to go cordless. Pick a tool platform that you want to use and buy all of your power tools within the same platform. That way, your batteries can be used interchangeably, and you don't have to spend bajillions of dollars on batteries. I use DeWalt power tools, guys, but there's many good options out there like Makita, Ryobi, Milwaukee, so many more. Let's get into this, guys. The Jigsaw. The Jigsaw is an important tool to pick up for your shop because it will allow you to cut curves. This is going to come in handy on projects like charcuterie boards where you may want some unique shapes, serving trays where you want to cut out some handles, circular coasters. The list goes on and what this tool can do. The upgrade to this tool will be your bandsaw, which will open the door to you being able to resaw wood and do some other things. No need to rush on getting the bandsaw, by the way. I have one in my shop, and I still use the Jigsaw all the time. Power drill and impact driver. Your power drill and impact driver are more often than not sold together, and buying both at the same time can save you money. A power drill is a variable speed tool that can drill holes and drive in fasteners. It will have a keyed or keyless chuck that holds bits in place. An impact driver is more lightweight and compact by design. Impact drivers have more torque and use a quick change clamp to hold bits with a hexagonal shank. So the biggest benefit you can enjoy from having both the power drill and impact driver is that you can put your drill bit in your power drill and your driver bit in your impact driver and use the two at the same time. The reason that's a benefit is when you're working on a project that requires you to pre-drill a lot of holes and then put in a lot of screws, you have the one drill to pre-drill all your holes, and you quickly switch to your impact driver to screw in all your screws, and you don't have to have one drill where you're switching back and forth between the drill bit and the driver bit, because believe me, that's a pain in the arse. Circular saw. So this is a 7 1/4 inch circular saw made by DeWalt. Your circular saw will allow you to break down sheet goods like plywood and MDF. You can use it together with a speed square, and you can quickly make square cuts or angled cuts. In the future, if you want to work with live edge materials, a good circular saw and T-track will be a pivotal tool in your shop. I recommend that you upgrade the blade on your circular saw as well. Generally, the more teeth you have in your blade, the cleaner your cut will be. If you're using your circular saw for framing, you can get away with the stock blade that may be 24 teeth. But if you're going to be breaking down veneered plywood, for example, grab yourself a blade that has at least 50 to 80 teeth. Palm router. So a palm router will allow you to do most things that a full-size router will do. But they're smaller, they're more maneuverable, and you can get them cheaper than a full-size router. A router is going to allow you to add edge profiles to your projects, cut grooves in wood, and when used in conjunction with different jigs, possibilities are endless. I recommend a palm-sized router for a couple of reasons. First, when it comes time to add a full-size router to your shop, there's still going to be a place for your palm-sized router. I still use mine all the time. Second, I think it's easier and a little less intimidating to start off learning how to use your router in this smaller palm size. That way you can get more familiar with the tool and then eventually upgrade to your full-size router, which has a lot more power. That's just the way I recommend doing it. The random orbital sander. So you're probably going to spend more time sanding than any other task you're going to do in woodworking. Unfortunately, that's just the name of the game. Sanding takes a lot of time, so it's important to have a really good sander. This happens to be a Fez Tool 6-inch sander, which is something I recommend you build up to, but not something you need right out the gate. DeWalt makes a really good 5-inch sander. So do some of the other major brands that I mentioned earlier, Makita, Ryobi. Pick yourself up a good 5-inch sander. They're a couple $100, and they do a great job. To get yourself started, pick up 10 80 grit sandpaper pads, 10 120 grit sandpaper pads, 10 180 grit, and 10 220 grit. And that collection will give you a really good mix of sanding pads to get started and achieve a really nice finish. Video break! So I just want to let you guys know I'm going to put a link in the description to my Amazon shop where you can find a tool that I recommend in each category as well as the accessories I recommend today. If you purchase through this link, a portion of the funds goes to my channel, which allows me to keep making content. That's a good thing. Speaking of which, if you're enjoying this content, please take a minute to like the video, throw in a comment, subscribe to the channel, and then hit that bell icon so you can be notified when new videos come out. The next category up is hand tools. So hand tools represent the oldest form of woodworking. And even with the current number of overwhelming power tool options out there, they're still going to be at the core of your shop. They allow you to work with precision and control. The tools I'm discussing today will let you mark and measure, hold, join, and inspect your projects. I want you to notice I left hand planes and chisels off this list. My personal opinion, getting familiar with the tools I talk about here will get you started, and as you get more familiar with woodworking, you can add a set of chisels and some basic planes to your tool shelf. You're going to need to be familiar with some sharpening techniques and some other skills before you use those tools anyway. The pocket hole jig. So when starting out, you need a quick and easy way to assemble your projects. Insert the pocket hole jig. With this tool, you can start building before you learn about the more complicated joints. It's super easy to use. It creates strong joints. Once you learn about the other joints, you're not going to need this quite as much, but it's still good to have in your shop. Craig makes this mini pocket hole jig that starts out at 18 bucks. Clamps. So it's a common saying in woodworking that you can never have enough clamps. It's a cliche, but it's very, very true. I'm 10 years into woodworking at this point, and I still run into situations all the time where I don't have the right clamp that I need, or I don't have enough of a specific type of clamp. The point is, you're going to add a lot of clamps to your collection over the years. You don't need to go out and buy 100 clamps when you're starting out. My recommendation is you pick up 2 or 3 of these parallel style clamps, and you pick up 2 or 3 of these F-style clamps. That'll get you started, and then you can add more clamps to your collection as you go. Straight edge. So your straight edge is a really important tool for a couple of reasons. It's going to help you check for flatness on projects you're working on. For example, if you're trying to flatten out a live edge piece with some hand planes, you'll use your straight edge to periodically check and make sure that you're achieving flatness. The other thing that's really useful to have for is making sure that your machines are flat and calibrated properly. Measuring and marking tools. So here I have the multi-angle and speed square, mechanical pencil, tape measure, and combination square. Technically that's 5 tools, but I'm going to consider them 1 because it's easier. I can't overestimate the importance of having tools that will let you accurately measure and mark your material. It's a foundational skill in woodworking, and you should master this skill before you move on to actually cutting any intricate joints. Heavy duty tools. So this last category is for your bigger, beefier tools. I recommend you get a miter saw and a contractor saw right away because early on, these 2 tools will become the foundation of how you're going to dimension your lumber. The miter saw will let you cross-cut your wood quickly, and the contractor saw will let you make repetitive rip cuts. If you find that you're enjoying woodworking and you're going to want to do it long term, you definitely want to upgrade from a contractor saw to a cabinet saw at some point. What's the difference, you ask? A contractor saw is much cheaper and is far more portable. You usually see them at construction job sites, hence the name. A cabinet saw is more specific to fine woodworking and will let you build with much more precision. The difference in price between these two is a couple of hundred versus a couple of thousand. The Bosch compound miter saw. So this is a great miter saw. I've had it for a couple of years. It works fantastic. It'll give you your crosscuts, your repetitive crosscuts. I have a whole separate video dedicated to this saw and how it works, so I'm not going to get into it today. But if you are interested in learning about it, I'll put a link in the up there. So the last tool up is your table saw, and I'm going to recommend that you get a DeWalt contractor saw to start out. They're about $650, so it's definitely worth looking into maybe buying a used one on Facebook Marketplace or waiting for a good sale. But it's a great saw to start off with. I had one for 3 years before I upgraded to this saw, and I wanted to show you guys this saw so you knew what I mean when I was talking about a cabinet saw. This is a much bigger, beefier saw and is more meant for fine woodworking. The difference in price, $650 for the contractor saw versus this was $3,500, and that doesn't get into, you know, buying a good blade, buying any accessories you need. So it's definitely pricey. So start off with that DeWalt saw, test the waters, do some rip cuts, do some projects, and if you find you like working and you want to do it more often, then you can upgrade to the cabinet saw at a later time. Thank you guys. If you found this video helpful, then check out this video on 5 tools that are lesser known, but maybe even more important than your major tools.